Welcome to Backyards and Bevvies. Grab your favorite bevy, pull up a chair, and enjoy the ride. Hey, B&B fam. This podcast is sponsored to you by BetterHelp, H-E-L-P. Is there something getting in the way of your happiness? I know when I traveled the world, I had many days where BetterHelp's worldwide service of licensed professional therapists could have helped me speak to someone no matter where I was in the world about whatever was happening with my life, and with zero judgment. With their ability to match me with a therapist that best fits me, I know my mental health would have been way better back then. Believe me, I needed it. But I'm here to share a way for you to take back control of your mental health by telling you about BetterHelp's awesome services they have for you to talk with a pro about your life through their app or just online. Whether it is a video session or some simple messaging, their team is here to help. I went to check out the app for myself just to see how easy it was to use, and after a series of questions, I was told I would be able to start matching with a therapist in under 48 hours. And what is super rad is that it's affordable and they even offer financial aid too. So come join the 2 million users that have already been helped and gain back control of your mental health by visiting betterhelp.com/backyards for 10% off your first month. Remember, BetterHelp is therapy done securely online. Don't forget to use the special code BACKYARDS and let BetterHelp, H-E-L-P, help you to start living a happier life today. Welcome to Backyards and Bevvies.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome back.
We still don't have video.
No, you don't get to see our pretty faces anymore.
I broke the GoPro somehow.
It happens. Well, I think the battery melted, right? When we were outside the last time, it got too hot.
It did, and then it got stuck in there, and then we tried to record, and it
recorded like 4 seconds, and we didn't realize it. So now you just get to hear the melodious sound of our voices.
Mm-hmm. And it's the Dumb and Dumber scene. Have you heard the most annoying sound in the world? That's exactly what it is. Yeah, I'll edit that one out. Yeah, but it was pretty funny to see that battery get stuck in there. It would expand.
I've never seen something like that.
Well, it would expand every once in a while, and I bought like some heat shield when we would do it outside.
But it's a GoPro. Like, shouldn't it be able to handle temperature?
Yeah, but I think by having it plugged in and recording at the same time, which I never read.
You think maybe it like overheated because it was charging and recording out in the sun?
Out in the sun.
GoPro, please comment.
Well,
explain to us this issue.
Well, I think in there it says something about, there's probably somewhere a paragraph that says
don't charge
best
and
practice.
Record.
But maybe I read it in the sense like don't do it for long. Who knows?
Well, either way, we murdered our GoPro.
It's done.
It's dead.
It's done.
It lasted almost 2 years.
Yeah, it did. I guess it did its fine job. It will, longevity and stuff like that too.
I think most people just listen to us, anyways.
Yeah, we have more listeners than we do on YouTube. Yeah. So I mean, but we will figure it out. I'm working on a few ideas.
Yeah, because you're gonna have to see our new backyard.
Yeah, we are moving. We will be moving.
We should be moving in like literally a month.
Well,
from yesterday.
We'll see. Well, we're gonna at least have one more here at this lovely abode, and then at the next abode we'll have another one.
Mm-hmm.
Abode. Well, I guess today then we could talk about a lot of things, but there's something interesting happening, and it's happening here in Nashville today. And so before I start though, before I let that, and I think the person we're going to talk about is
he's semi-famous.
Well, he's definitely famous.
He's like globally super famous.
He's definitely famous. But I think one of the things that makes him so cool is that he's taking not only the sport by it's almost like watching. Okay, before I go any further, who's the biggest GOAT in sports in your opinion?
Ever?
Like across the globe. I can think of two that are global. And this is probably why I think that he's moved into a different realm, but let's just talk about
I guess I would say two. I could think of two maybe that would like be the top.
Okay,
so Michael Jordan
for sure
be one.
For sure.
And Pele would be another one.
Yeah, at his time, I would say that, yeah, you're correct.
Like, I remember, like, I literally read about him in school books, like legitimate curriculum when I was little.
Exactly.
You know, you're pretty big if you're being talked about as an example when you're in, like, elementary school. And he wasn't in the United States. You know, you're learning about somebody from another country.
And there wasn't Instagram and Facebook and all the places.
So, yeah, those, if I had to name two, those were the first two that came to mind.
And those are great. I was going to say Jordan for sure, just because he had that global appearance that it was clothing and
maybe Babe Ruth would be number 3.
Yeah, I think that's a little too old. I mean, I think not that Babe Ruth wasn't a global sensation, but in my time though, I never saw people reference Babe Ruth in like Japan. But you would see videos of Michael Jordan showing
everywhere.
up there.
Yeah, Michael Jordan would probably be the number one.
And I think that he is the number one only because he, though Pele was talked about everywhere on a global scale, like, Tom Brady is a GOAT, but NFL is really just a GOAT here.
Right, yeah. Right. They're trying to take it overseas, but, like, the sport is a U.S. sport.
But, like, Pele, you're correct, because that was global. Like, everybody knew Pele, right?
Yeah.
And when you saw soccer or football, however you want to call it, you associated that instantly with Pele. I'm going to kick it like Pele, or I'm going to do this. And then I think maybe David Beckham was the next biggest name to come out of the soccer realm. But even then, I don't think he made it big in the States, only to a certain extent where kids liked him because kids liked the movie, and so but Michael, he really, I think he took it to that new.
Well, Michael became a brand besides just a human.
Exactly. And the documentary is great to watch about it.
We should watch it again.
Yeah, we do like documentaries. But Michael's not, or maybe he's in town today, but the new GOAT, in my opinion, is Messi.
I didn't want to name who our person was because I would have given it away.
Now I think it's time.
Leo Messi.
And he, I mean, I brought up his stats right before we did this because, it's just so funny. Like, he's like this little guy who is just crushed all the stats. He's up there. He's made a ton of goals. He's only 5'7".
Wow, is he really?
So he's
short height. People unite. What's up?
And which is crazy in a world where you would think he wouldn't be able to dominate against some of these other taller.
You would think,
but he's
and yet here he is.
Yeah, but he started. I mean, he was born in 1987, right?
He's really He's only 3 years younger than me. Wow.
Yeah, 36.
Okay.
And he started playing, his youth career started in 1992.
Wow. So he was 5.
Yeah. And then he went to another club. So this is with I'm assuming a local club. And then he went to a club, another one in Argentina. From 95 to 2000. So basically till he was about 13. And then this is where I think soccer is so interesting, is it's like F1. They like, and it's like Texas youth football, you're trying to breed these little
Friday Night Lights action.
Yeah. And so he went to Barcelona.
Wow, at 13. That is so incredible to me, like, random sidebar here. But, I've learned so much about soccer after being with you and your passion for the sport and stuff. And I did not realize this until we watched that Arsenal documentary, that's what happens, is that these literal children, like even younger than 13, leave their families, and go to another country without a parent or guardian.
Crazy.
And the only person watching over them are their coaches.
Yeah. Well,
and whoever like the assistant coaches and chaperones are. But like, they could be 3 days travel away from wherever you may live, and you don't see them. Yeah. And they live and breathe the sport. and get some schooling, certainly, but like the sport is everything. But that's why you end up creating these absolute titans as athletes. But I mean, there's not something like that in the United States.
No, you don't,
because people in the United States would wig if you were taking their children away from them and out of their schools. Yeah, summer camp.
Summer football camp
is the biggest thing. I mean, I guess like when you're training for the Olympics it's certainly much more intense, and you're going like every day, and you may.
But your parents would move to the city.
Your parents would move, yeah. Like they would pack everything up and move you and your siblings, or one parent would go. But, I had never heard of a child leaving their family and everything they've known so far in their lives to go somewhere where they may not even speak the same language.
Well, think about it this way. Think about it in this sense, too. How good you have to be at a sport.
At such a young age, like 5 years old, I was probably eating ants.
Yeah. Well, to not only like be looked at to go to like even probably those Argentinian clubs, but like for Barcelona to look at you at 13 means
you're crazy talented, like God-given gift.
They've probably been looking at you too since you were 10.
I mean,
because it's like the music industry. Nothing. Though people think you snap and things happen, like that album came
forever.
out.
Yeah,
they just came out with an album and this one's out now. Like they must have just done it. It's like no, things take time to build. So that they were looking at this kid for quite a long time. Mm-hmm. But the cool part is like he has taken that, I think, and really molded it into exactly what Jordan did. He is a brand. Mm-hmm. He is exactly like when you think of how Messi plays, you can, picture his little legs, like scooting across the field and stuff like that. He just has a very different approach to the game. And so you have to think like, wow, he probably like had that at a certain age too, where people saw that and were like, okay, this kid is different, regardless of like where he's from, or that's an entire ocean away.
Right.
It's
so far,
entire ocean away. And then I think I don't even know mileage, but it is high and low. You're basically in the southern and northern hemispheres.
Yeah. It's incredible.
But for them to notice that, and then take him and then start to build him. It's really, I think but then he stayed at Barcelona for so long too, and you hear these interviews of him
did his family ever end up moving there?
I don't remember. They need to do a Messi documentary. They need
to
do
Apple is working on one.
They need to do a Kobe one. They need to do a Messi one, but you just don't see that the way that you anymore. And I should say, you just don't see a Messi in every player, right? There's great players. He's like the top 1% of the 1% of the 1%. He's like that fractional.
He's the best of the best.
And so it's crazy because, I don't know, to me, to even be in the same city now.
Yeah, well, tell our audience, like, why we're even talking about
he's playing. Well, like, he's now part of Miami. So he's left all these giant clubs. Like he was with Barcelona, then he was with PSG, which is out of France, and then Paris, France, and then he got an offer. And I don't know the whole details. Like you can read one side. It was almost like he never wanted to leave Barcelona, but there was some weird stuff, and so he transferred and was never happy. Mm-hmm. And in that, the Saudi Arabians have their own league too, or the Saudis, or there's a league over there in the Middle East. I forget which league it is, but they have their own league, and they've started to really build up entertainment over there, right? And so
they got Ronaldo, right?
Yeah, and that's always been a very big
rivalry. So they wanted Messi to come over so that they could have games where they had like the two top players in the world playing against each other.
They used to play in Spain against each other.
Right.
Real Madrid versus Barcelona. And then that club has had a rivalry. So it's like the two best players in the world
against two of the best clubs. Yeah.
So, but he turned it down. And it was
stupid money. Definitely more money than he got to come play in Miami.
I don't know.
There's no way.
Well, residual. Well, hold on.
Well, yeah, more
Okay.
upfront cash.
Yeah.
For the Saudi
like $300
deal
million or something
than
like that.
here. Yeah.
But
his residuals are pretty crazy. His stock options with Apple and all the things.
But I think it's kind of cool though, because going there would have been amazing, I'm sure. He probably would have been treated like a prince.
For
and
sure.
Just like everything would have been given the same way he's probably here, but on a different level there. Just because they have so much money over there that they are willing to just spend money. But I think him coming here, it's like going to a master class, right? Like, I want to learn how to be a better writer. So I'm going to go listen to this writer talk about how they write, or I'm going to go read these books. But that's kind of like, writing is a hard analogy because at the end of the day, I got to go do it by myself, right?
Right. Not a team sport.
Well, and MLS has always been kind of looked at as like,
it's like the redheaded stepchild of soccer.
The B league of soccer, There's been great players like, what's his name? Zidane Abramovich or whatever, he came over. Beckham came over.
But they come over here to retire. They don't start here.
They usually come
over here to be like, look how glorious I am, and now I'm going to live in Hollywood and do my thing.
And that's what I'm sure Messi is thinking as well. He might as well come over and play. But I think what someone like him, what he's doing is he's also bringing a new aura to the sport, where he's such a leader that
for sure.
Because to me, if I was to play a game against Messi, I would be like, this is so cool, right? But then how can I learn from him?
For sure.
So there was like a comment or a meme. This young kid had just graduated. It was his first year in MLS, right?
Oh, yeah. That was crazy.
What was it? He makes
$67,000 a year
as a starter.
A year. So, and $67,000 is nothing to sneeze at.
To play soccer.
Yeah, to play soccer.
And you fly for free, you travel for free, you get free clothes.
$17,000 more a year than the average American makes.
Yeah,
it's a great salary.
Yeah.
$67,000 a year. Messi makes what?
Double that a day.
Double that annual salary. He makes twice that every day, whether he's playing or not playing.
Yeah.
So that's how much money? Like $134,000 a year, I think.
Well, a day.
Right, a day. Yeah, but so $134,000 a day when that guy makes $67,000 a year.
But
did I do that math right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But the cool part is that I think that guy was so excited because he knew that like his chances of ever you would never get that chance to play.
Yeah, he now gets to play against the literal greatest. So cool. And imagine if he does something great against Messi.
Well, I think the game already happened. I think the game already happened, so I don't think he did.
Oh, well. You do what you can. But so Nashville tonight plays Miami in Nashville.
Yeah. But think about that. Like, that's how Kobe, he mimicked Jordan.
Right. Yeah. You emulate the greats.
So I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
But so here we are. Nashville's on the cusp of playing.
And it's for this like League Cup final.
So
whoever wins tonight wins this cup.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the first time. So Nashville has been at the professional level for 4 years now, is what I was reading. You and I used to have season tickets. But that was before they were recognized as being like fully pro. That was when they were like the expansion team. They played in a smaller stadium and all that kind of stuff. And now they're like legit.
Yeah.
And this is the first time we've ever made it to the finals of a cup series. And we have to play against the greatest player maybe in the history of the sport.
A guy who has, let's see, let me get some stats here. He has, in his career, scored a total of 724 goals.
Wait, and how long has he been playing professionally?
That's across 891 games. So that's a pretty good.
So he's scored, in a massive incredibly high percentage of games?
I mean, this is from 2003 to today, and that's pretty incredible when you think about that.
Yeah.
And that's across playing in National Cups, Continental, others total.
Just everything.
Yeah. He's also amassed. Well, and that's okay. So that's only for his teams, club teams. But for Argentina, he's also gotten 119 goals.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff. But I think, when you think about other things, he's won the La Liga. I don't know, I'm trying to find actual number stats, so I can read them off faster. Here, club career. Anyways, I think when you play against someone like him, my point is this. You could go into the game one or two ways, right? You can go into the game looking at oh my gosh, I'm going against the GOAT. We're never going to win. And you might not. Or you can go into the game and be like, I'm going to take him on and I'm going
to slay the dragon.
I'm going to try. I'm going to at least stand up.
My life depends on it.
I'm going to stand up in front of him and hope that I can. But I'm going to go in there and I'm going to look at everything he's doing because he's great. How cool is that? I mean, to be in the same room as someone like that, is one thing, but then to be on the same soccer pitch as them, you're getting the chance of a lifetime to play against it. So I just think it's so cool that these guys have worked so hard in Nashville. They've put up so much time to get up there. They've put in the hours, and now they get to actually reap the benefits of playing against a great player.
So cool.
And not only is it, just incredible what his career has amassed, but I mean, look at this. The most hat tricks in La Liga, so the Spanish league. He has 36 hat tricks. So that means he scored 3 goals.
36 times.
36 times.
Wow.
In games. The most assists, 192. I mean...
It's incredible.
He has the most international goals by a South American male. I mean, it's pretty...
I think even outside of his professional soccer stats, what impresses me even more than obviously how incredible of an athlete he is how it seems like he's also a phenomenal human. He is super open about his faith.
Yeah.
He is all about his family, like his wife and his kids.
Yeah, I think that's
He
pretty
seems so devoted to them. And I think it's so important nowadays to have a role model who is actually a role model.
A role model.
Not somebody who is out there simply being like, look at me, I'm the biggest swinging you-know-what in the room.
Slaying bitches.
And I can get whoever I want. It doesn't matter if I'm married or it doesn't matter if I'm committed to somebody. I do what I want because I'm the best and there's no consequences to that. And you see that pretty much everywhere nowadays because everybody's so concerned right now about personal freedom, quote unquote. And oh, well, if I want to do what I want to do, then I should be allowed to do that. There's no accountability whatsoever for anybody right now. And to see somebody at his level making the kind of money that he makes, and he's an attractive guy, and he's obviously a phenomenal athlete. Being somebody like that, he could go do whatever he wanted and absolutely trash the life and family that he has built.
Absolutely.
But he doesn't. Because he has values and morals and is a good stand-up human who is an excellent example for other people to follow and look up to.
Yeah.
And what he's doing, talk about what he's doing on the field right now every time he scores.
Oh,
That's one of my favorite things ever.
I will in a second. I think you have a point because I've lived both now, and I will say that the later is such a easier lifestyle in my heart, which sounds hokey in a way because everyone's like, I think so many people want to be heartless. I'm strong and I'm mean and my heart's black.
And that means I get to be selfish.
And I get to do whatever I want and I'm being mean. I'll be a bitch to everybody in the daytime and go and rage at night and not do what I need to do and all these things. And then you're talking about a role model here. And there's a lot of that in sports. You read it all the time, and all the not okay. And I say tabloids, but I think most publications are tabloids.
100%. Pretty much all of them.
They're all clickbait, right? But I do think that when you continually read about these $1 million sports stars, going cheating on their wives and all this stuff, or they have all this stuff, and then they get caught doing it, and you're just like, why? Yeah. I mean, at this point, you have the money to just walk away. Just walk away.
Right.
Just walk away if that's not what you want to do. But at the same time, though, when you read stories about, like, Messi, he's married his high school sweetheart.
Childhood sweetheart. Like little kids. Together since they were little nuggets.
It's amazing.
Unbelievable.
That's
That's
so cool.
a Cinderella story. It's
really
incredible.
And then you read about, then you never read about him in the headlines of being like...
Never. You never see a bad headline. Like somebody accusing him of doing something bad. I don't think he ever goes to a club. He plays and goes home to his family.
And I'm sure there's a ginormous amount of other soccer players and football players and basketball players that do the same thing.
But somebody at his level.
But at his GOAT level is the...
So
because even like Tom Brady, as much as I think he's a great football player and stuff like that, unfortunately, what he just went through with his wife forever, it was supposedly the same scenario. You're reading it, and then you read a headline one morning, and you're like, oh, I thought that was paradise. Right. You just hope that these stars are good, right? And I think another example was Kobe. Kobe, though he went through something in his younger years, I think is a good example for someone like me who has gone through something in my younger years to look at the other side and say, okay, well, sometimes you have to learn a hard lesson to realize I've learned many hard lessons. What you will lose if you don't learn that hard lesson. Yeah, and I think that that's a real statement, though. It's like some people are just go through it perfectly. And maybe Messi isn't perfect, or maybe his home life isn't perfect, but unfortunately, because it's so always in the news, it looks pretty perfect. Yeah, yeah. But someone like Kobe, he unfortunately always had that black tag, hanging on the back of all the good that he did, like because he was the one time that someone called him out on, the charges, and he went to court like way back when in his early careers. But then you're slowly shifted, or you're quickly shifted to going, well, yeah, but he was also young, but look at what he's done now. And I think that that's the more important thing. It's like, I hope that after my success with this book and all the things that happen and all the shitty headlines that potentially come out, that everybody goes, well, yeah, but when I was 25, I did that too. Right. Because it is true. It's like, I now look to Messi for a lot of inspiration. I look to Kobe for a lot of inspiration. I look to a lot of those kind of star people, not because I want to be a soccer player or a basketball player, but because I want to be a stand-up father. Right. I want to be I want people to look back and say, yeah, maybe he wasn't the greatest from ages 10 to 37, but from 37 on, he was a stud. Yeah. and in the best possible way. Yeah. Not like a stud. Not as an actual stud. Not like the stud I used to think I wanted to be. Right. But I think that is like something that's really positive that you bring up about Messi, and why I think, though we look at him as a GOAT because of all the accolades that we can see him do on the field, I think the behind the scenes is just as important. For sure. Right? Because, we are in a world where everybody just wants to wear bling and go to the club and pop the bottles. But there was photos of him and his wife with David Beckham and them, after this, having a great time. But I think that that's the important thing. Go have the great time, but bring the one you love. Yeah. Why would you not want to celebrate? Bring your number one. Yeah, like, you don't have to go get a side piece to have a good time. And fine, and one thing that I did, and this is just me and you, but and I didn't even do it on the second child, because whatever, now we already have two. So by the third one, it's like, whatever. But the first one, babies. I really sat and was like, well, I don't know what this is going to be like. So maybe I just go through it with you to the T. And so I didn't drink. I didn't do a lot of stuff. Now, it was fine. It all worked out.
It was very
even
sweet
on the second
of you,
one,
even though I told you didn't have to do it.
And you did. And then on the second one, I didn't drink a lot.
No, but like on a special occasion, which I was totally fine with.
But there wasn't really any wind to it. You know what I mean? Like
because it's more fun when we do it together.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that I've started to notice too. It's like those moments of winning are so much sweeter when you're next to me, or you get to experience the and I say this because I don't think you'll ever experience the exact rush that I get, because it is kind of, it's a different rush, right? Like I used to get rushes when the lights would go down and the first beat would hit and all that stuff. But now it's like, you know, I'm doing things that I've never done before that I can see success is building, and it's a different rush. But what's cool that kind of keeps me grounded is that I want to do it with you. So when you're not able to do it, like, well, the rush is still there, but I'm like waiting for you to go celebrate the rush.
Yeah.
As opposed to, well, I want to go get out of here and go get 13 beers and hammered drunk and party. I do.
Right.
But I want you to be there too. So it is cool to look up to these guys like Kobe, you know, and another GOAT in my opinion is like Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
You know, and one thing that I think that is stand-up-ish about them, and whatever, if people don't go to church or they don't believe in God, then that's their choice. But these three guys were very, they always talked about their faith. And I think that it did put them in a different just place in their life, right? It allowed them to, like with me, I just think of it as like this. I was not able to control myself. Now at least I put someone that's way more
right.
Like,
you have somebody to answer to.
Now I do, and I think that however they looked at it, that's on them. But it's kind of cool in that sense that I've found my foothold with that as well, and it seems to have a very peaceful working experience alongside of when I want to go and resort back to old ways, potentially. Revert back.
Yeah.
Resort. Wrong word.
I knew what you were trying to say.
I was trying to find it. I was like, wait, no.
Revolt. Revert.
The V. I was missing the V.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. I just think that he is in my opinion, I love Jordan, but I was never a big basketball fan back then. So I don't think that I loved him the way that some people loved him.
For sure.
But I respect him as the GOAT. But in my opinion, when I ask
Leo
like who the
Messi's
GOAT is,
I got you.
Yeah.
All right, but now tell people about what he does when he shoots the goals.
He has kids that asked him that after every goal if he would do a new superhero move.
That was like celebration.
Yeah, it's his celebration dance.
So cool.
He does he's done Thor, he's done Spider-Man. He did
so cool.
Did he do Harry Potter? No, he's not a superhero.
He's a little bit of a
super nerd.
Oh, rude. That's what we're doing tonight. We're watching Harry Potter.
No, we're watching Stand By Me.
No, we're watching The Menu.
What
are we watching?
Stand By Me.
But it is really cool, and everybody was like freaking out online, like, "Oh, he has a secret deal with Disney promoting their movies," and it's like he also has children.
He also has children.
Maybe he's just doing something fun for his babies.
Yeah. So I think it's cool. I think that he's a great example for that. He could do anything. Yeah. Like you said, he could do outside of illegal, he could do anything that he wants because people would allow him to get away with it because he's the GOAT.
They might even let him get away with it if it was illegal. You never know.
But I think that him taking those moves and doing cool things with his power, right? Because that's ultimately what he has.
Yeah.
He has leverage. That's, I think, the cool thing is when you have that kind of leverage and you use it for good, like it is just impressive to watch someone like that.
Yeah.
So to everybody that's going to the game or who by the time they listen to this, who went to the game,
I hope it was amazing.
Well, I hope that it was amazing, but I hope that it was moving too, because you're watching.
Yeah. You may never get to see him play again.
You're watching greatness. No matter what the tickets cost, no matter how mad you could be about the tickets,
tickets are crazy,
which I would be mad too. Wait, I would be mad too.
Yeah, for sure.
But at the same time, it's like watching Jordan play the Pistons in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is a final.
Yeah.
There is no way to tie this. It either goes to a shootout. Someone has to win.
I hope it goes to a shootout.
Someone has to win
I wish
tonight.
we could watch it. Do we buy the MLS package just to watch it?
Gosh, no.
I don't know. Maybe we do.
Messi's already rich. We don't have to give any more money.
Yeah. But to get to watch it would be pretty cool. We'll see.
But yeah, I mean So yes. So my our closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts.
Messi is definitely a GOAT, in my opinion.
100% a GOAT.
And I hope that everybody who gets a chance to now witness it in MLS gets to appreciate it, because I feel like he's here not to just score more goals. I really do think he's here, yes, to retire, make a good amount of money,
Mm-hmm.
but to have fun. And that's the one thing that I think that one of the sportscasters was saying, where they're like, it's like watching Messi back at Barcelona, which
just like revitalized.
Oh my gosh, I used to look up tickets all the time when I traveled the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, fuck, I just want to go see Messi play in Barcelona. Oh, I used to, and it was so hard because like just traveling in and trying to get there. I just never could make but there was a couple times that were close, and I was like, oh, do I want to spend 4,000 euros on a game? And it's like, yeah, but you get to see this dude who is a magician.
Which is super cool. But at the same time, do you really get to see it? You don't get to see it the way you see it on TV.
You don't get to see it the way you do.
It is very different. But you being there is very cool.
But so I would just say the final is where I hope that everybody at the final really enjoyed it. And I hope that everybody got to see something great happen. And
I hope Nashville wins, just because it's Nashville.
Nah.
I mean, the chances are very small.
So here's a real question.
But I also don't want him to win everything.
Here's a real question. I'm seeing that I've never been a giant sports, like 100% I'm in on this only team, except like maybe the Cowboys, just because I chose them a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm more of a player. Like, okay, Arsenal. Arsenal's the only other team.
Yeah,
okay,
you're
Arsenal
a
is
diehard Arsenal fan.
Yeah, like no, if a player leaves Arsenal, good riddance.
You tried to convince me via a silly clip from a news station the other day to name our maybe one day second daughter, if we have another one, Arsenal spelled backwards.
It is a beautiful name.
It is not. Absolutely not. No, sir. Like naming your child Espen, like in Blended.
Oh my gosh, such a good name. No. But I am a player outside of Arsenal and maybe the Cowboys. I am like a player.
You follow the players.
I follow the players. So like when Brady moved from the Patriots to
the
Bucks, like I cheered him on.
Yeah.
So like I'm not a Nashvilleian.
He's a goat.
I'm not a Nashvilleian. I have zero ties to that club. They don't pay me. I hope they do good, but
you're rooting for Messi.
But I am a Messi fan.
I love Messi, but I do think that it would be cool.
I'm not saying it would be cool
for Nashville to win the cup.
I'm not saying
whether Messi was involved or not. I'm rooting for Nashville because I have been here for 12 years. Yeah. We did have tickets to the Nashville Soccer Club's games for the first 2 or 3 years that they were a team. So we were early adopters. We're early supporters.
I have a jersey. I bought a jersey.
Do you still have it?
Yeah.
No? Okay.
But I am a Messi fan, so I would like to see Messi win. But I would totally
also celebrate
if Nashville wins, that's a great achievement too.
Well, we'll see what happens.
But I am a player. I follow the players more than anything.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, there's something to be said about that. But anyways, thank you for listening to this fun episode about goats.
Goats.
And not goats.
The goat.
The goat.
Greatest
a couple goats.
Of all time.
The greatest of all time.
The greatest.
It's a big shoes to fill.
Big shoes.
I don't know who'll be the next, but
somebody will be. Probably that blonde dude.
Gosh.
What's his name?
Haaland.
Who plays for Man City?
Haaland.
Yeah, Haaland. He's pretty freaking good.
He's something. He's only 22.
I know.
It's crazy.
That's why he could be the next Messi.
He'd be a tall Messi, though.
He would. He'd be the tall Messi.
Tall, white Messi.
Yeah. Well, you never know.
Thank you so much for listening.
Have
Sorry
a wonderful
there's no
day.
video, but to everyone who listens to us on line.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening always.
We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.